Hey everyone, Sophia here from My Great Challenge. Welcome back to another DIY project. I'm still on the back deck. Last week Scott and I did the back door in red and we are absolutely loving it. But now it's time to spruce up the back entrance a little bit more. I'm going to build a planter to go along the side of the entryway. So I'm going to show you where I'm going to place it, what material I'm going to use, and I have a plan in mind. I'm going to hope for the best. Eventually it's going to get painted. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do that today, but basically I'm going to get a planter just for the back door. So we are back in the back of the house, and if you remember, this was painted red last week. We have a problem here because there's a deck that really needs to be resanded. That's going to happen sometimes this summer, hopefully. But when you get off the deck, you take those stairs here and then you get into the kitchen and the house. But there is this ledge right here, and don't worry about this. This is just water that was there because I just moved a bunch of stuff. So yeah, so there's this ledge here. So basically today, you see the dirt, look at this, it's nasty. All right, I'm going to build a planter and I'm going to put it right here. And there's a reason why I want to put it right here, is because there's been many occasions where I just was doing something in this area and I almost fell into this. Actually, I fell a couple of times. So I need to put something here to kind of block this area. I could put a banister, I'd rather have a planter. What I'm going to do is build it from scratch. I have wood, I have paint, so it's pretty much going to be here all the way down to here. Okay, and while whatever paint I have is drying, I'm going to go with a brush and I'm going to remove all of the algae and moss that's over this deck, so it's going to be spruced up. So I'm going to give you a before. That's what it looks like, and we're going to look at it later on. Here is the wood. I have a bunch of wood in the garage that is left over from a bunk bed I used to have for the kids, and I always keep woods because I always have a project in mind, and this is exactly what I'm going to be using today. So everything has to be cut, eventually sanded, and the planter will be white, by the way, so it's going to have to be painted. So I'm going to use these. They're going to be cut in half, and that's basically going to be the height of the planter. So each plank is going to give me 2 corners. So I have 4. This is going to be for the bottom. It needs to be drilled eventually for drainage. This here is going to be to reinforce in between. If I go like this, right, you see that? All right, so this is going to be drilled and placed like this to reinforce it so that it doesn't fall. And then these here are basically the slats that were on the bunk bed, and they're going to be placed on top of each other like this, and that's going to be the sides of the planter. So I need to measure everything. The biggest part I need to measure actually are these, because I need to cut off the edges here by about 1 inch. So I need to cut off 1 inch, and then whatever I have in length left is going to be the length of the plant, and you see it's going to be just perfect. So if I take 1 inch on this side and on the other side, it will go up to here. So that's exactly the length that I want. So let me get started with the measuring. I'm going to start cutting those off. All right, so this is what I'm doing. I have those slats and I've already cut this one, and that's going to be my rule of thumb. It's the length that I want. So for each one, I'm going to put it this way, and I'm marking it. You see how I marked it? So this is where I'm going to cut. I want them to be all at basically the same length, even though it doesn't have to be perfect because they will be niched into the corners. So this one here, I'm going to cut here, and on this side, I'm going to cut here. It'd be great if I didn't have to do 2 cuts, but each one of those, because they were slats from a bed, they have those plastic thing, which once I remove is weakening the wood itself, and it's inevitable that it's going to crack. So I need to cut every single one of them on this side and on that side, so they are all the same length. right, I have 10 of those, so it's going to be 5 this way, right? And that's basically the depth of my planter. So now each one of those is going to go this way. So I'm going to have one going this way, and then the other one is going to go, well, basically they're like this for all of them. Okay, like that. Alright, and then these are going to be inserted on this side. Alright, so what I need to do now is calculate the height for these. So obviously I know I need this kind of height, but I have to decide whether I want to have this going up above the planter or if I want it flushed, and then how much of it I want at the bottom to keep it off the ground. So I'm probably going to keep, well, this I got to cut off anyway because I got, well, I could go this way, doesn't really matter. So I'm going to keep it this way. I say 3 inches. So the 3 inches here are going to be the feet. So I need to count 3 inches plus all of this and cut it right here. So that's definitely a need for measuring tape. So I'm using all of these as a support, but basically here's my corner for my planter, and what I'm doing is inserting self-tapping screws. I'm putting one here at the bottom where the feet are going to be, and I'm putting 1, 2, and 3. That should be enough for support. Remember, these pieces that I've just cut, all 5 of them, the panels for the sides are still going to be screwed into this, so there's going to be additional support. But right now I'm just basically screwing those in, and I love self-tapping screws because I do not have to pre-drill. Now, I'm not too worried if this is not even. You see there's a little bit of a lip here, because what I'm going to do before I start painting, everything is going to be sanded. But basically here's my corner, and all of my pieces which I've cut to length are basically going to go like this. Alright, so this is what the planter is going to look like. So these will get screwed in this way. And again, I'm starting at 3 inches, which is about right here. I'm going to calculate that now. So I have a standard as to where the bottom one will go. Right, so the bottom one is going to go here, like this. And that's going to get screwed here and here, right? And then I'll have another one which will go this way, and that one will get screwed here and here. You get the idea? So let me start doing this. Okay, it's in. You see that? Alright, so let me do all 5 of them, and then from the other side I'll probably do one that goes this way. They're going to be covered by paint and putty anyway, so it doesn't really matter if I have holes. Here we go. So I have one side of the planter, and I made a mistake. I put these holes on top, but that's alright. I can fill them up with putty, sand. It's going to get painted anyway. So this is what side number 1 looks like. So I'm just going to do the exact same thing for the other side, and then all I have to do is measure the length from here to here to see how long the slats need to be. I don't want them to be bigger than a foot because the planter is going to be huge as it is. Now what I'm thinking of doing is putting it on casters, that way in the winter I can move it around and it's not in the way, but I'm pretty happy with what it looks like so far. Alright, it's starting to shape up, you guys. I have 2 sides, so all I have to do now is measure what distance I want from here to here for the side of the planter. Probably gonna want it a little bit wider, otherwise there's too much of those two here. And cut all of my slats and just start inserting them, and I'll have a box, and all I have to do after that is the bottom part. So yep, it's pretty much done. I don't think I'll have time to sand it and paint it today. That's fine. It's one of those projects that's probably going to take 2 days. Now in the inside, I'm probably going to cover it either with a landscaper's fabric or some kind of you know, the black tar, just to make sure that the moisture doesn't get it rotten. We'll see. Okay, let me measure and cut, and then I'll install them, and we'll see what it looks like without the bottom. So I have 10 pieces, 5 for each side, and they're going this way, and I'm just going to do the exact same thing. I'm putting 2 screws, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, all the way up there, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the top. Boom, bottomless planter. So I made it 19. It's 19-inch plus whatever is here and here, so it's about 22 inches. So there you have it. So now what I'm gonna do is make the bottom. So for the bottom, I'm gonna put bars here, right? I'm gonna screw them in from inside. There's gonna be a bar here, a bar here, another bar here, and then a bar over here, and the plate is gonna rest on it, and then I'm gonna screw it. And all I gotta do after that is seriously sand all of this, bevel it to the sides here. Maybe I'll put a piece like a square or something, or a triangle or something, just to cover that. I don't know yet, but that's pretty sturdy, and this is gonna contain quite a lot, to be honest. So we'll see. All right, it's time for lunch. I'll be right back. All right, so here you go. I got the pieces here at the bottom, and they are just going to be basically rests for the bottom. And what I did, tried to minimize the amount of screws that I put on the outside. So I have a lot of screws here on the inside, but right here I added 3 screws, and I tried to get them in as much as possible, because again, trying to not have screws, it would be nice. This one is a little bit shorter, but that's okay. It's still going to be able to support the whole plate. So let me go in my garage. I'm going to try to find a piece that would fit. I'm probably going to have to cut something and then put it in, screw it in, and then I have to I have to drill holes throughout for drainage. It's supposed to go in. Might have to wedge it a little bit. There we go. Okay. Alright, so you see, I got a bottom. So now all I have to do is screw it in, and then I have to make holes throughout for drainage. Alright, so look what I'm doing. I've decided to hide the top by doing a lip. So I have more wood that's left over, and what I'm doing is that I'm screwing it on the top with a little overhang. You see that? It's not that much, it's about 1/2 inch. And now I'm ready to cut this one. I measured them to 32.5, and it's gonna go this way here on top. And then of course I gotta cut it here, so that will be screwed in, and the same thing here with this one will get screwed in here, and then after that all I have to do once I cut this is go ahead and cut the edges here and here, and I will have a planter that is complete. All right, let me get the cutting down, screw them in, and the last part after that is just basically sanding. And tomorrow what I'll do is that I'll patch holes and try to get the screws a little bit more anchored in so I can do the putty to cover them, and then I'll paint the whole thing with primer a couple of times and then paint it nicely. I gotta go in the garage and see if I have more of that black tar, because that's what I'm gonna put in it to protect it from moisture. Look what I built. I'm so excited. Yep guys, I have a planter. It's huge and I'm thinking about putting bamboo in it. I don't know why, but I think it's gonna look really, really good. Okay, so I'm gonna sand it and I'll be done for today. Tomorrow I'm gonna put the whatever I gotta put in there to keep it from moisture, and then I'll paint it in white. I'm just gonna sand it now, do the corners, round them up, make sure that everything is nice, and that would be it. This is really, really big and it is seriously sturdy. Super happy with this. Yes. All right, so this is done. The one thing you want to make sure before you start sanding is to countersink all your screws, because otherwise you're going to ruin your sanding paper. So all I'm going to do is sand the flat surface here, and then I'm going to start beveling on the sides here just to make it a little bit rounded and look a little bit more fancy, I guess. So we're going to ignore the sorry looking deck for a second, because that's going to be one of our summer projects at some point. And here is the planter. So this is day one. Of course I'm going to paint it in white to go with the frame from the door. Tomorrow I have to do that, and I have to seal the inside, and we're going to put casters on it too so that we can easily move it. So yep, here is the planter. It's great because when you go down you can actually hold on to it as though you had a banister, and then the best part is that Sophia is not going to fall down that pit again, because now I am protected. So yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good project. It took about 7 hours to put together. Again, all the wood is the leftover from Edward's old bunk bed, so I didn't have to go and purchase any wood. And this is sanded quite nicely. Tomorrow, what I'm going to do before I paint anything is put some wood putty over all the areas where I have countersunk the screws. Let that dry, sand a little bit, and get ready to paint. And I must look like a wreck right now because I just kept on wiping my eyes all day long. Why? Because Sophia doesn't wear goggles. So I'm sure one of you is going to put comments already as to how I should wear goggles. I don't. I have about 3 pairs. I just don't wear them. So give me a big thumbs up if you like this video and this project. I will see you in the next video when I get it painted. I'm still on the fence as to what plants I want to put in. If I put something too tall, you can see the other side and then it brings in shade. If I put something too short, it's going to be like kind of so I think I'm going to try to find something that's in between, and then think about Christmas. I can actually put some decorations here for Christmas. It could look really cool. So yeah, thumbs up if you like it. Don't forget to share this video if you really liked it, and right here in the corner here or there, I never remember, you can click and subscribe if you are new to my channel. I guess I will talk to you later. Thanks for watching, you guys. Bye.